For Off the Block, I'm Van Lopes, and we are now joined by North Greenville men's volleyball head coach Fred Battenfield after a huge victory this afternoon as they defeated Barton in 5 games. And, Coach, we were talking briefly before we started the interview. This has to rank up there as one of the top wins in your guys' program history.
Well, it really is. And we've been, this is our 5th year of the program. You know, we've knocked off Mount Olive a couple times in our gym before, but to beat the number 1 team and that's nationally ranked and nationally recognized, it was just an absolutely incredible victory for us.
Yeah. Well, Coach, talking about that 5th game, can you just take us through, you guys get down early, trailing 5-1 at one point. What was the biggest turnaround for you guys and how you were able to come through?
Well, we got down 5-1 there in the 5th, and then somehow we came back to 5-5, and then Jeff Lennox called timeout. And I once told him we've been practicing 5-point games. Okay, guys, 2 5-point games. And for some reason, all of a sudden, they just elevated. We started scoring a little bit, and Jackson Gilbert, I just told the setter, give the ball to Jackson Gilbert, and we're going to take care of business. And he just had a phenomenal night tonight.
Yeah, well, Coach, talking about the play of Jackson this season, he's definitely, from the stat lines, it looks like he's really elevated his game. What have you seen from him in the gym that, really made him so effective?
Well, in the off season, he worked extremely hard in the weight room, and he's a determined young man. I mean, he has just been absolutely incredible, the determination to do better and to lead us. He stepped up into a leadership role as one of our captains this year, and that's made a major difference. He had 39 kills against the top 2 teams in Conference Carolinas in the last 2 days, so that says a lot about his ability to score. But he wasn't all of it. There were a couple other guys who contributed: Aaron Campbell, Ben Hampshaw. And what they really did is just a phenomenal job tonight. Against a really great team. Barton is still very, very good, and they're going to be very difficult to beat down the stretch.
Yeah. Well, Coach, I do want to ask you, when you're playing a team like Barton, still, in the win or in the loss, still hit 300. How important is it for you to be able to match their offensive firepower when you play them?
Well, Matt McManaway, my assistant coach, said to him in one of the timeouts, in the 5th game there, guys, we've got to match them point for point. We can't give them 4 or 5 in a row then come back. We have to match them point for point. And that's kind of what we did. And we got down there toward the end of the game, but, we just were able to score on a few balls, come up. But, the biggest thing that we did prior to the match, we've been messing around with our lineup for a couple of weeks since, I've been at Lewis and Loyola and Penn State. But we finally found a combination that really worked. Moving Sergio Carrillo into our setting position and then Brandon Baker into the middle. And then sticking Cade McGee from California into our outside spot. So I got 2 freshmen and a sophomore right there that stepped up and played against some of the best players in the country. I mean, these guys are way older than us. They're more experienced, and I had 3 freshmen playing tonight. And so that says a lot about the ability of these guys just to step up and be ready to play against anybody. So we're serious. We want to try to see if we can knock these guys off this year at the end of the year.
Yeah. Well, Coach, talking about Sergio, insert him in the starting lineup. How do you feel he was able to distribute the ball, and what led you to make that decision, putting him in and starting him into the starting lineup?
Well, every time in practice, it seems like our second team was always beating our starters. And so, we had gone back and forth. We'd, play Sergio in game 3 against, some of the bigger teams, just get him a lot of reps. And then last night he came in, we just said, okay, I call it the jumbo lineup where we move him in because he's a lot bigger than Jake Bulldog. Yeah. But Jake's still a great setter. But Sergio just has a command of the ball. His ball placement is very, very good. It's very effective. And he was able to involve, most of the guys in the offense. So that was probably the number one thing that helped us get us through. Plus, he's got a little bit more energy. I tell the guys we got to play with energy because we're talent-wise, man for man, we're not as good or big as any of these teams. But we got a lot of heart, and these guys really did it. And Sergio is the kind of guy that was able to push us through.
Coach, 2 final questions before we let you go. You mentioned your non-conference schedule. Playing Lewis, Loyola, Penn State. How much did those matches help you guys get ready for conference play?
Well, we realized the first game against Lewis didn't go so well, but they finally realized, hey, this is just volleyball. Let's just go out and play. And they started passing the ball, and we started scoring a little bit. I mean, obviously those teams are much more established, much more traditional. They have a lot bigger and stronger players. They have a lot bigger budgets. But we're just a little old dinky college in South Carolina that, my guys love to play volleyball. You can say they don't call me 5-game Fred for nothing. We just keep playing 5-game sets and wearing people out. But playing those great teams, and it really was a big plus for us. It was a lot of travel. I mean, 6 of our first 7 matches were on the road, and with Louis Loyola and Penn State. But it really toughened us up a little bit because the only thing that holds us back is our brain. But we didn't do that tonight. We didn't fold to the pressure that Barton put on us, and they played pretty well.
Yeah. And Coach, final question. I know in previously you talked about one of the big steps for your program would be a top 4 finish in the conference and getting a home postseason match. What do you feel you guys have to do following this big weekend to carry that momentum forward in conference play so you can finish in the top 4?
Well, if we can get into the top 4, our gym is probably probably one of the best home court advantages in the country. Our gym is very unique in its structure, and we call it Fear the Beam. But it's home. It's a great advantage if we can get a lot of teams in there. Not very many teams can win in our gym, so we can get in the top 4 and host at least a first round or maybe even the whole tournament. I think we have a legitimate chance to do that. But going down the road, we've got about a week off before we play again, so we'll be able to rest our legs a little bit. After 10 games, we're going to need it. But we got a couple road games coming up. But I really think that if we can not have a dip, not have a significant injury or something along that line, don't have a ton of depth. I'm playing a lot of freshmen now, but I do have some experience on the bench that may not be playing right now, but like Grayson Lawrence. I mean, he's a senior. He knows his role. He came in last night against Mount Olive and won that one, and he came in against Barton tonight when it was 13-11, I think, and served an ace and served another ball that got him out of system, and we were able to beat him. So everyone contributed that what I asked them to do, and that's been the key. Guys that may have had to go out of the lineup or doing other things, and so just a really good team effort, by our program.